Down, please. Welcome to the Anaheim Elementary School District August 14th board meeting. I'm ASD President Ryan Rellis. I call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Spanish interpretation of the board meeting is available to attendees. Para español, puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame al 314-474-3067. Cuando se la pida, introduzca el PIN 668-096-615 y la tecla numeral. Any member of the public has the opportunity to address the board in person during the agendized public comment session by 6:30 p.m. Let's begin with the roll call. Okay, let's begin with the roll call. To my far right, we have board member Jackie Philbeck.
Present.
Board member Juan Alvarez.
Present.
Board member Mark Lopez.
Present.
Board clerk Dr. Paulo Magales.
Present.
I'm your board president, Ryan Rellis. Public speakers for closed session agenda items, we have none. Can I get a motion to adjourn to closed session? During this time, we will be discussing the following items: public employment discipline dismissal release, and conference with labor negotiator. May I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
So moved, Lopez.
So moved by Lopez,
Second, Alvarez.
second by Alvarez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0.
Testing, testing, testing. This one doesn't. Hello. Oh, mine doesn't even work.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Anaheim Elementary School District August 14th board meeting. I am AESD Board President Ryan Rellis. I call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Spanish interpretation of the board meeting is available to attendees. Para español puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame a 314-474-3067. Cuando se la pida, introduzca el PIN 668-096-615 y la tecla numeral. Let us begin with the flag salute. Please rise. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. Let's go ahead and do introductions and roll call. To my far right, I have Trustee Jackie Philbeck.
Good afternoon or evening, everyone.
I have Juan G. Alvarez.
Good evening, everybody.
I have Mark A. Lopez.
Good evening, everyone.
I have our board clerk, Dr. Paolo Macallis.
Hello, everybody.
I'm your board president, Ryan Rellis. To my left, we have Jesus Chavarria, a.k.a. Jesse, our superintendent.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Dina Meland, our assistant superintendent of human resources.
Good evening.
We have on my far right, Belinda Gordillo, the communications coordinator.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Yesenia Mancha, our senior administrative assistant too.
Good evening, everybody.
We have in our back Yasmin Anaya and Mary Matherdoll, our interpreters. And to my far left, in the corner over there, is Cody Hellman, the technology support technician. And in the back, we have Carrie Robertson and Tony Rincon, our media services. All right, report of closed session actions taken. There were none. Can I have an adoption of the agenda?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Lopez. Seconded by Trustee Philbeck. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Special order business, none. News and updates. Let's start with our parent leadership group updates. Oh, there's none. Our association updates, there are none. And our district news and updates. Belinda Gordillo, the communications coordinator, she will present on our news and updates this evening. Belinda, please take it away.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. Good evening, Board of Education, Cabinet, and guests. My name is Belinda Gordillo, and I'm happy to share the district news and updates. So on the 31st, we had our new employee orientation, and it was hosted by our HR team and Ed Services. It was a two-part series, 2 days, and we had our esteemed board members come, and not only did they help serve, but they also helped share a few words and encourage our new employees. So in total, we had 15 certificated employees, which were composed of DLI teachers, SDC teachers, and SLPs. And then we also had 49 classified, and that included a lot of expanded learning enrichment supervisors, as well as a bus driver, an IA, physical therapist, and also our M&O director. And then on August 1st, we had our new superintendent welcome reception. And so we welcomed Jesse to start the new year with us. And we had a lot of dignitaries and Our Board of Education also shared a lot of words, and we had a lot of staff that attended the great occasion. Then on August 2nd, we had our Leadership Summit with our theme was superhero theme, but we also talked a lot about our new theme for the year that Mr. Chavarria shared with us, which is growing stronger every day. And we were accompanied by 110 staff. ELOP updates, pupil services, safety, admin services, and more. And then on August 5th, we had our Start to Success event, which started in the morning with canvassing the neighborhoods with the little first day of school reminder, and also reminding families to come over to the sites. Everybody had a different time, 9 or 10, and so they were able to come to the school and do a walkthrough, meet and greet with teachers, principals, and just kind of hear of some important date information for the first day of school. So that was very well attended. And then also on August 5th, Disney came and visited Orange Grove, and they were able to give out a lot of different supplies for our students. And so students got to walk around and pick up notebooks and art supplies, etc. And then in addition, Dr. Valdez did an interview with ABC. So that was a great morning also for the students and the community of Orange Grove. And on August 8th was the first day of school for AESD, and we had a lot of media attention over at Price and also at Gwynn Elementary. And we had everywhere from our superintendent down to one of our young scholars participate in interviews, and then everyone in between. We had so many staff and principals share a lot of great things for the upcoming year. In total, there was 578 million audience impressions, and that's how many people were viewing our segments. And there was nearly 60 TV segments in English and Spanish. And that doesn't count Orange County Register and other publications that also covered the event. And then on August 8th, Mayor Ashley Aiken and Supervisor Vicente Sarmiento hosted a supplies and backpack giveaway, and they hosted it at Orange Grove Elementary. So that was really well received. A lot of staff and a lot of students participated, and of course also our board members were present as well. And then throughout the last month, AESD has hosted a variety of staff trainings that include, yesterday they had the Art TOSA training. They also had literacy summits, new DLI teachers workshops, creating successful learning environments workshop, and understanding and addressing student behaviors. So a lot of great resources for our educators to be prepped for the new year. And then just a few days ago, on August 8th, there was a back to school bash held at Madison Elementary, and this was hosted by Council Member Carlos Leon of District 2. So we really want to thank Carlos Leon and his team for coming out and also equipping our students with some great resources. And so we want to thank all of our a lot of our community members who think of AESD, and they provide a lot of great resources for our families. And that's it. Any questions? Oh. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to public speakers. Speakers on agenda or non-agenda items. We have 2 public speakers this evening. Our first speaker this evening is Ms. Crystalline Reynolds Rivas. Please come on down. As just a reminder, you have a total of 3 minutes to speak. When we have 30 seconds left, Dr. Paula McAuliffe will flash you the yellow, and red means stop, please.
All right, lovely. Thank you. Good evening, esteemed members of the AESD board. My name is Crystalline Reynolds Rivas. You might recognize me from previous speeches advocating for the expansion of arts education in our district. Tonight, I want to begin by expressing my heartfelt appreciation for the support and collaboration I've received from our principal and vice principal at Juarez. Their dedication to our students and their willingness to listen to and support parents like me has been instrumental in ensuring that our voices are heard. As you know, Prop 28 was passed to enhance arts education across our schools, and it's critical that these funds are used as intended by the voters. by the voters of California, we have a unique opportunity to enrich our students' educational experiences, and we must do so with full transparency and accountability. This means not only allocating funds properly, but also ensuring that we have the data to back up our decisions. To ensure proper implementation, I urge that school districts publicly post and submit the following information to the California Department of Education. A certification stating that Prop 28 funds have not been used to supplement any existing spending for the arts education at any school. The baseline existing spending amount for the certification should be 22-23 school year and the year before Prop 28 came into effect. A listing of additional arts and music teachers employed by each school district in the 23-24 school year and how that compares with the 22-23 school year. While I am proud of the strides we have made, particularly with our renowned music program, I continue to advocate for equal recognition and support for visual arts. It's not enough to maintain the status quo. We need to ensure that all forms of art.
I'm sorry, let's pause right there because I need this to be louder because I can't hear. I'm sorry. In the back, can you go ahead and please fix that because I want our public speakers to be able to actually have their voices be heard.
And just FYI, you have 41 seconds still.
But we'll
Thank you.
stop. We'll give you a minute.
Thanks.
Want to speak?
Yeah, do you want me to go ahead? Is that good?
Better. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm sorry, I just could not hear at all.
Yeah. I can also send it to you after, all of you. Okay, go ahead then. All right. Okay, you want me to just scoot forward? Okay. Sorry, I'm going to go ahead now. A listing of additional arts and music teachers employed by each school district in the 23-24 school year and how that compares with the 22-23 school year. While I am proud of the strides we've made, particularly with our renowned music program, I continue to advocate for equal recognition and support for visual arts. It's not enough to maintain the status quo. We need to ensure that all forms of art, visual, performing, and beyond are given the resources and attention they deserve. Arts education plays a crucial role in developing social-emotional learning, fostering creativity, and preparing our students for the 21st century workforce. To further support our efforts, I encourage the board to explore the resources available at Create California's website, createca.org. They offer valuable insights and tools that can help us expand and sustain a comprehensive arts education program across. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, all right, thank you.
It stopped working. It worked yesterday. We tested it out. It's not working now. I think it might just be the batteries. But I'll keep track on my phone for the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice for them to see and be heard. Next, we have Miss Angela Stutcher. Come on down.
That's perfect. Yep. Hello again, school board and our president. My name again is Angela Stecker, and I'm both the mother of a Franklin Elementary first grader and an arts educator. I'm currently a visual arts curriculum specialist at AUHSD. I want to express my sincere gratitude for your ongoing dedication to the arts in this district, and it's clear that you recognize the importance of a well-rounded education, and I'm here today to stress the critical need for continuing to hire credentialed and highly qualified arts educators, especially with this new Prop 28 funding. I'm pleased to learn that the district has recently hired 7 new art teachers on special assignment. That is a positive step forward in ensuring our students have access to the arts. However, it is crucial to ensure that these educators are not only passionate and creative, but also fully credentialed and qualified in their respective arts disciplines. Credentialed arts teachers bring the necessary depth of knowledge and pedagogical skills to create engaging, standards-based lessons that address the diverse needs of all students. They inspire creativity, critical thinking, and cultural understanding, which are essential components to a high-quality arts education. While outside organizations can offer valuable programs, they cannot replace the consistent, integrated, and personalized instruction that credentialed art educators provide. Our students deserve the continuity and depth of learning that only full-time dedicated educators can offer. I want to also raise concern about the development of the arts plan. I previously volunteered to be parts of this process, but have not been communicated with. This makes me wonder where are parents, students, teachers, and community partners in the involvement of the plan. Ensuring that the community voice is heard is very crucial in creating this plan to reflect our collective goals and values. In conclusion, as we continue to implement Prop 28 funds, I urge you, the board, to prioritize the hiring and retention of credentialed, highly qualified art educators. The recent hiring of new teachers is a great start, and I hope we can build on this momentum to ensure every student benefits from high quality instruction. Thank you again for your time today.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the superintendent's report. It is recommended the Board of Education declare a public hearing for the purpose of hearing comments regarding whether pupils in the schools will have during the 2024-2025 school year sufficient textbooks and or instructional materials consistent with the content and cycles of the curriculum frameworks adopted by California Department of Education. Is there any speakers? After hearing no comments from the public, we will now adjourn the hearing and give notice that a vote on this item is scheduled for the September 11th, 2024 regular board meeting. Next, local indicator, teaching assignment monitoring outcome. Tammy Ledesma, our Senior Director of Human Resources, and Rhonda Robertson, our Director of Program Evaluations. Welcome.
Let's see. Thank you. That's perfect, I think. Awesome. We will need that. Thank you. Okay, so last June we were here talking about the local indicators, and we shared the comprehensive report with you all. And then in July, we got a notice from the state, a blanket notice, all the districts got it, that they did a new data release on the teacher assignment monitoring outcomes, and that we were to share those with you at the next board meeting. So that's why we're here. Tammy and I are here. Just to give you the context, that local indicator report we give you is very comprehensive, and the piece we're talking about is just one element within the basic services portion. So this little snippet might look familiar to you. It's part of a 6 or 8 page report that we give to you. And in that report, we reported that 99.9% of our teachers in 23-24 were clear or properly assigned teachers. And what we've always done with you guys and the local indicators is given you the most accurate information that we have at the moment of presenting to you. And we thought that was the spirit and intent of local indicators. But we found out from the state that we're to share the data that they provide us. And so they did a data release in July, and it looks a bit like this. This is how it looks in DataQuest. And please note the year on there is 22-23. So we're going to go back in time a little bit and properly share this data. And it is for census day in 22-23. So that means these percentages are for October, the first Wednesday in October of 2022. So you can see there's a line for Anaheim, Orange County, and then statewide. So Anaheim Elementary, 92.7% of our teachers on that day were clear. And that's higher rate than the county as well as the state. And so Tammy is going to talk to you about what all of those other designations mean. But for the purpose of the dashboard and accountability, what's going to appear on the California State dashboard when they produce that in 2024 in this fall are just those first 2 rows. How many FTE and then what proportion were clear. And so what the state allows is for us to do an optional narrative, and we chose to add an optional narrative to our dashboard when it gets released. We just indicated that as of census day in 2022, these are the percentages, but by May of 2024, 99.9% of our teachers were appropriately assigned and fell under clear. This is the data flow, and this is kind of why it takes so long. It all starts in Aries. We have our teacher info and our student info, and it goes to CalPads. And then CalPads, once they get their certified data, they send it to the CTC. And then the California the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing created a new system called CalSAS. And that's where they do checks and balances with what credentials do teachers have, which students do teachers serve, and are they appropriately assigned to meet the needs of those students. And then much later, almost a year later, we get a report that goes from CalSAS to OCDE and to the districts, and OCD helps us with it. It's a list of errors, and it has like different code sets for different errors. And so we have 90 days to tell them these teachers are appropriately assigned. Here is how we justify that. We write them a letter and they say, good, awesome, but they never go back and correct any of the data. So that's why we're reporting 99.9 because that's what we know is to be accurate, but they say, yes, this is a good justification, but they don't go back and fix any of the data systems. All right, and now Tammy's gonna explain more.
Say that again? Yeah? Okay. Okay, good evening. So before we get started, just a reminder that this is 22-23 data, so that's important to remember. So I just know that it's not a secret that HR has the goal of always making sure that we attract, we hire, we retain, we support the best teachers to be in front of our students. And because of that, we know that quality teaching is what's going to impact our students the most, so HR takes that job very seriously. We want to make sure that we have the best in front of our students. So as Rhonda mentioned, in the clear section, you can see that it states that 92.7% is what was considered clear at the time. So for the clear, that just means that the relevant attributes and the dimensions of the assignment were authorized with a clear or a preliminary credential. And so that is where the starting point is. Then if you look at the next indicator that is displayed, the 0.6%, could include people with a provisional, that thing, you need that, in case you wanted to know. So it could be people with a provisional intern credential, it could be people with a short-term credential, it could be variable term waivers that we apply for, but also in this number is people with substitute teaching permits. So as we all know, sometimes our credentialed people have to be out for some reason out of the classroom, and so it is our job to put somebody to be with the students. And sometimes those people do have substitute teaching permits, which could impact this data as well. I also wanted to just note that I think that this will be an area that will continue to see this number potentially grow. We've had as high as 16% of a decrease of people that are seeking teaching credentials across the state, which will potentially impact districts all across trying to find people who are fully credentialed, fully qualified at the time of the need. The next piece is the incomplete piece. And so this is 6.6%. And this means that there was either missing or incorrect information. So this goes back to what Rhonda was saying. So each of those data places that the information goes to, sometimes there might be something that this first one doesn't read with the next one. And so it gets confusing, there's confusion in that flow of data. So I'll give an example of one that we keep running across is we have some of our students in our SDC classrooms, and sometimes those students have a primary disability of speech and language. However, they also have a disability that also places them into an SDC classroom. Well, our SDC teachers typically have a mild mod credential or a mod severe credential. But in one of those flows, they are noticing that the student's primary disability is speech and language. Why doesn't the teacher have a speech and language permit or a licensure? And so that's where the data gets confusing again. But in these cases, the LEA, the monitoring authority, we have been able to indicate that the assignment is correct. We just need them to be able to go back and be able to update that data, which at this time it is not something in place. And then finally, we have the incomplete. And so this is more so for the area of our staff, and it has to do with their English authorization. When we have students that are English learners, we need to have our staff that are permitted to teach English learners. So those of us that have credentials, maybe we have our English learner authorization attached to our credential, or we have a bilingual authorization attached to our credential. We do have a group of our individuals that they fell under a separate authorization, and that was the possession of the SB 1965, or 69, sorry, Certificate of Completion, and that's where the school district had the opportunity to provide staff development for those individuals who had already been teaching our English learners, and that's how they received their compliance. However, in CTC, there is no record attached to their credential. So we have that information, the county has that information, but when it goes through that flow of CTC, they're not recognizing it. So that's when we are able to provide them the information and give them the corrections again. So just to close, we are extremely proud of our efforts to make sure we have the right people in front of our students. We know that when we get those errors that come up, we're confident because we know that we have all of the right people in place. And then finally, I know you've probably heard the Assistant Superintendent of HR tell you, you've probably heard me say it before, our intention is always to have fully credentialed people in the assignment. There is gonna come times where, depending on the time of year, the type of assignment it is, or the people that have the qualifications, so we may run into that, but we always have the intention to make sure we have the best of the best. And then questions?
Questions?
Thank you very much
Of course.
for putting this whole report together. Really appreciate it. Thanks for keeping us up to date on the changes that have been happening at the state level. I did have a question regarding different sites, because you provided us the district-wide overview. I did notice there's another item later in our agenda that covers just one school site, 8B.3. That item just talks about Gwen. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the item at all, but are we going to be having site by site?
We do have that information
monitoring?
that we could give the breakdown to you.
Okay.
So if you wanted to see it by site.
Yeah, well, and I'm just wondering, because it's coming up on the agenda, are we going to see those in the future, or was this just a one-off item for just the site of Gwen? And it's 8B.3, just for reference.
I think that item might have to do with is that the Williams visit, and because they're they were designated for ATSI at a certain point in time, which makes them kind of the ones that we monitor for textbooks and teacher credentialing and all of those priority one pieces, those basic service pieces. So we definitely have each school's information and can provide that for you.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate, your declaration in the sense of, making sure that we're hiring the best of the best, and, and I fully agree. I do want to say, though, as somebody who started their career under an internship credential, we tend to work really extra hard to get that job. You know what I mean? Just saying. But thank you, though, for that presentation.
We're amazing, too, 'cause I was in that same boat.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I saw a couple of hands go up.
Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. The Visual and Performing Arts, VAPA update. Maria Villegas, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Mark Anderson, our Coordinator of Arts, Music, and Physical Education, and Laura Houston, our Teacher on Special Assignment of Arts and History Social Science.
Oh, I take that as well. I'm raising my hand too. Another intern started that way. Very promising. So good evening, President Relis, Board of Education, and our Superintendent Chavarria. We have a wonderful presentation for you tonight, providing some updates of what we're doing to ensure that our students have that experience with our arts program, that guaranteed learning during the school day, along with those opportunities to extend and enrich beyond the school day, because our students are learning all day long, as we know, with our wonderful extended after-school opportunities. And joining me tonight, of course, is our wonderful team. We have Mark Anderson, which is our coordinator of music and arts, and also our wonderful teacher on special assignment, Laura Houston. So I'll just go through a couple of slides and turn it over to the team. But we always like to start our conversations always grounded, and I heard that earlier today, and ensuring that we're providing our students with a holistic education experience here as an elementary students, that we're ensuring that our students have high quality experiences in all the content areas, but certainly recognize and understand the power of the arts and how that amplifies students' learning for their creativity, their confidence, and it's part of our Portrait of a Scholar and guarantee that we want for kids. So, and of course, that connection that it does for our students, ensuring that we lead with equity and we promote that social emotional learning as our core values in our district. And the arts, again, provide those opportunities to see other perspectives, to really promote that sense of inclusion for our students, and to just extend their overall personal learning and their cultural pride as we're able to do that through all the arts learning. So with that said, I am turning it over to to Laura.
Good evening, everyone. Are you able to hear me okay? All right. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? All right. Okay, I will stay close. So, okay, thank you. So, it's so exciting that Proposition 28 is going to strengthen all the amazing music and arts activities that we already offer here in AESD, and essentially it will deepen our reach to all of our students at every school. And in 2023, we had a series of meetings consisting of an arts education focus group. And the purpose was to gain community feedback and input, and our goal was to share ideas and opinions on how to best spend the Prop 28 money in all of the AESD schools. And I think Mark is going to talk more about that in all the meetings.
So this slide is a summary of that community feedback and input. We really started with what AESD was already doing and values and what they find important, as well as what areas we can expand upon. So the four things that kind of rose to the top were the music program and how it's funded, visual arts and expanding students' access to arts in the classroom, the infrastructure for support that we have, including all of our supplies, our music instruments, and enhancement of lesson resources. That also includes professional development for our teachers. And theater. We know that several of our schools have been doing amazing musical theater programs, and we're looking for ways to expand that to even more schools. Wanted to share that, it was only in 2014 that we began with music teachers at 3 sites, and year by year we grew. We added more sites and more teachers to our team year after year. And today we have a team of 26 amazing music teachers serving all 23 sites, teaching students in preschool all the way to 6th grade. And I had a music teacher collaboration today and kind of did a survey of the group. I think we have 9 or 10 music teachers that this year will currently be teaching 6th graders that they previously had as kindergarten students in their classrooms. And our music teachers are one of the only groups of teachers that get to work with the same students for their entire elementary experience in AESD. And I think that's really special, and just wanted to share that with everyone here tonight. So as that community feedback you see on the slide, we're looking at the program funding for LCAP plus Prop 28 funds to help strengthen our program in music. In visual arts, Laura's going to talk a little bit later about how we're planning to how we've added 6 art TOSA positions to the district. And then we're going to also be highlighting the new Disney Broadway-bound musical theater program. As Maria mentioned earlier, the learning doesn't stop in our school at the end of the year. We actually had summer camp, and we included music instruction at every one of our sites through the summer camp music program. And we also extended opportunities to connect with community programs for students to experience workshops throughout the year. So I'm going to pass it over to Laura to talk a little bit about the next slide, which is Arts Express, one of those summer opportunities.
So this summer, our 6th graders who had completed 6th grade had the opportunity to attend Arts Express at Concordia University in Irvine, and it's a 5-day arts immersive experience, and they stay in the dorms and eat food in the cafeteria, and it really challenged them to express themselves creatively alongside their peers, and they also went along with outgoing 7th graders as well. So that was one amazing thing that our students got to experience this summer.
We also had students participate in the Mariachi Nationals workshop. This is an amazing workshop and conference for students and educators brought to by one of our service providers who is connected in our Anaheim Elementary Succeeds program, Jose Hernandez. It's an immersive experience designed for students and educators passionate about mariachi music. It's held over 4 days at Santa Ana College, and participants receive expert instruction from renowned mariachi musicians. They get to play alongside these pros, including Jose himself. It focuses on honing their musical skills, learning traditional and contemporary mariachi repertoire, and fostering a deep appreciation for the culture. Additionally, participants have the opportunity to perform and collaborate in a culminating showcase that celebrates their progress and talent. And next year, we're working with El Sol Mariachi, who provides mariachi instruction in the Anaheim Elementary Succeeds program, to include Mariachi Nationals as part of their contract for a number of our students, since they've been partnering with our organization. And I believe we had a couple scholars there from Stoddard that were at that. We also wanted to share that Conga Kids has been an ongoing dance program provided to 5th graders, and it supports the integration of physical fitness and the performing arts during the school day and after the school day. And as we talked about before, we're really looking forward to opportunities to extend art throughout the day and after school and make those connections for our students and families. We really want, this is the details on Conga Kids is it's a 20-week program, and it's an hour a week, and it builds confidence and social skills for all 5th graders. Currently, there's 13 schools that will be participating in Conga Kids this year, and we hope to have the goal to have all 23 schools participate next year. And this is a really amazing program. You can see the 2 outside pictures are from culminating events that happened here on AESD at different campuses. And then the one in the center, you might recognize, that's from downtown LA, out in front of LA Live, right down by Staples Center. So our students actually were able to compete for prizes as part of Conga Kids. The kids weren't the only ones who had amazing experiences during the summer. We had a team of 7 amazing music teachers who participated in the Modern Band Summit. It's a 4-day professional development in Fort Collins, Colorado, put on by Music Will. Music Will is a nonprofit organization that we've worked with for a number of years to transform lives through music education. It's a premier event where educators from all across the country gather for an immersive professional development. They learn innovative teaching methods, and they have dynamic music making experiences together as educators. This year, the summit emphasized culturally responsive music education and provided resources to underserved schools. And they're just an amazing organization to work with, and we're so excited that two of the best presenters from Music Will are coming to AESD in September to do a 2-day intensive professional development with all 26 of our music teachers. So we're excited for their continued partnership. And now some future showcase moments and events coming up to remind you about. The District Showcase Band, which will be performing at the annual Anaheim Halloween Parade. We're going to be looking at ways to continue to offer more opportunities for these students to practice and perform together. So we're looking at developing a band that will practice one night a week at a school from students all over the school. We did this before COVID, and it was a great success to see where these students could get and practice more together, and the music that they could make was really amazing. But we're excited for that to continue. And also the AESD plus Disney Broadway-bound musical. This initiative was started last year, and it aims to provide a high-quality musical theater experience for students at our schools, fostering community, inclusivity, and artistic expression. It celebrates diverse cultures and offering live performance opportunities. The program will help students develop self-confidence and public speaking skills. We received a $100,000 grant to support even more schools in doing musicals. And I believe 9 schools will be participating this year in putting on musicals. And now we're going to turn it over to Laura to talk about the Art TOSA positions and give you a little more detail and background about what that looks like.
So in response to our community input and feedback that we mentioned earlier, the district added 6 Art TOSA positions utilizing Proposition 28 funding. And I've been working with them for the past several days. It's very, very exciting. Our goal is for our Art TOSAs to visit each school one time a month. So they'll be at one site for a full week and be able to teach in every classroom. And the goal is to give students direct access to art and creativity while also building capacity and confidence in classroom teachers, because they'll be co-teaching and modeling for the classroom teachers while teaching art. And our focus this first year is focusing on the elements of art and visual thinking strategies, all while integrating SEL, social emotional learning, and culturally responsive teaching. And they will begin on Monday. And I think that's it.
In conclusion, at AESD, we champion the integration of visual and performing arts to foster vibrant, inclusive communities, boost student confidence, and celebrate diverse cultures through thrilling performance opportunities. These dynamic programs empower students to express themselves, build self-esteem, and achieve a sense of triumph through their artistic accomplishments, reflecting our commitment to educating the whole child. And with that, are there any questions?
Test, test. No questions, just I wanted to say what an amazing presentation. Thank you so much for that. And I look forward to a lot of the upcoming events.
I'll just, what he said, and also it was a fantastic presentation. You're all doing such an amazing job continuously, and every year it just gets better and better. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for that.
Looks like we're in the beginning stages, just like we were in the music program, right? We started with 3 this time we're starting with 6, so this is a great start. I appreciate you infusing culturally relevant aspects to the ideas behind the art. But also we should value the assets we have in our community, which is our parents that are here. They're advocating, they're professionals in the field, right? So I would really appreciate if you guys could reach out to them so they can further collaborate with ideas on how to infuse art into our classrooms. And I love the idea of building capacity within our classroom teachers to help them create lessons. That's awesome. So I appreciate all your work on that. Thank you.
Yes, and my comments and questions just had more or less similar along the lines of Trustee Alvarez, is that, you know, you mentioned a few times about community input and everything like that. Like, how is that gathered?
When Prop 28 first came out, we started with an arts survey, and we sent out to all staff and parents through ParentLink. We received 355 responses, and then from those responses, when we had some really juicy comments, you know, and perspectives, we gathered a group of those community members, reached out to them to form our arts focus group. And then we invited principals and teachers and some other people to participate.
So if you're not one of those members that were selected to be a part of this, and you do want to be a part of it, and you are a part of the community, how can they go about becoming a part of this community?
They can reach out to Laura Houston or myself, and we can make ourselves available.
Excellent.
Can I add to that as a follow-up question? As an Asian American or Asian Pacific Islander, there's a lot of amazing different cultural music things, like, for example, in the Philippines we have, you know, the tinikling. In Hawaiian they have a lot of different ways in which they just not perform hula but also share stories. So maybe you know, as a board member but community member representing the Asian Pacific Islander community, maybe we incorporate some of that into the curriculum. Thank you.
Students would love that.
Any other questions?
Well, I just wanted to request that just go to the next slide so the community could see your contact information. That way they
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. That was fantastic. All right, let's move on to our 2024-2025, our adopted budget reserve transparency statement of reasons and revisions to the budget overview for parents and the increase or improve services section of the 2024 through 27 local control and accountability plan, LCAP. We have Matthew Slesser, our director of fiscal/administrative services, presenting this evening. Welcome, Mr. Slesser.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Board President Ruelas, members of the board, cabinet, Anaheim community. As we work toward tightening our budget and also closing the books for the 23-24 fiscal year, in collaboration with Orange County Department of Education, as a district, we strive to ensure transparency. And with this are two separate revisions for your approval that I will be covering this evening. I'll first begin with the 2024-25 adopted budget reserve transparency item, and then change gears to the revision to the budget overview for parents and the 2024 through 2027 LCAP. So regarding the reserve transparency, we currently as a district, past practice as well as current, is board approval of a 6% reserve for uncertainties, and that has been our norm here. We were informed by Orange County Department of Education to further split these amounts with reasoning to ensure full transparency. So with that, we keep approximately 19.6 million earmarked for economic uncertainties. Of that, 3%, approximately 9.8 million, is by statute, and another 3% locally reserved. Another 9.8 million is kept locally for a total, again, of 19.6 million. Keep in mind that a payroll is approximately $22 million, so this covers one payroll cycle. So it is in our best interest, cash flow purposes, to have this reserve for us in need. So with the reserve transparency, this next slide here, on the table to your left, this was on the proposed budget presented June 12th by Mr. Chavarria. You see the green boxes in that. For 24-25, we had 19.6 million. That's the 6%. Then 25-26, 19.9 million. And then 26-27, approximately 19 million. If you look to the table to the right, with that, we have now split the 3% per statute for economic uncertainties, and then also that 3% local amount. So those two items, when you add them together, they equal the same amount, but it's just a transparency item to show that we are holding that additional 3% for uncertainties and cash flow purposes. So that was the first item. Now I'll switch gears and move over to the budget overview for parents and the 2024-27 LCAP updates. Keep in mind with these next slides throughout the rest of the presentation, these are not material changes to our budget that was approved, but rather transparency and updates as we close the books for the 23-24 fiscal year. So the table to the left, this was what was presented June 12th in the budget overview for parents. Budget there, $327.3 million. That's the green box. To the right in the LCAP was just under 67.8 million. If you look over to the table at your right, total budgeted, same amount, 327.3 million. However, in the LCAP with this update, $68.6 million is budgeted in there, or I'm sorry, is flagged, not flagged, but put in the LCAP as items, with that being parent and family engagement, PK through 6 support, and also social emotional support. So those two items were added. That's why the change in that. So continuing on, budget overview for parents for the 23-24 updates. Table to the left, this was presented June 12th. We had 60.6 million budgeted, and at the time, 54.5 million was what was earmarked for being spent at the time. We had not closed the year yet, so with this was data taken as of April. So now, as an update, the chart to the right, again, same budget amount, 60.6 million, and we've spent a little over what was budgeted with actual. So as we close the year, those were the items that, when the books were closed, expenditures posted, and that is the amount with a significant amount to class size reduction, as well as student wellness with healthcare, mental health service for our students. So switching to the last slide here, the contributing actions for the 2024-25 LCAP. The top table, that's what was board approved June 26th. The table at the bottom, those are the revisions for approval this evening. If I can have your attention on the bottom right, the bottom yellow arrow, we now have a carryover of 0%. The prior slide I had kind of gone over that to how we got to where we are. It was prior at 6.2%, so we do not have that carryover, and with that, that also impacts the total percentage to increase or improve services. It was at 45.9%, now it's at 39.7%, and we also have more items earmarked in the LCAP as contributing actions. The third arrow on the bottom there, 58.4 million. Prior it had been 52.4 million. And then the fourth arrow at the bottom, our planned percentage to increase or improve services is now 40%. So we are a tad bit over what is required, when prior we had just under 36%. So we have, our actions are above what is required in the LCAP. And then, 58.4 million are the total LCFF funds now earmarked in the LCAP. Prior, it was 52.5 million. So the items that were added to the LCAP, but they were already in the budget, TOSA instruction PD coaches, approximately 5.6 million, and then PD development for TK through 6 literacy and math, and then also classroom management strategies to help our staff in the classroom. So those were the 3 additions to that. It does change the LCAP, but the items are on this table as a summary. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions if you have on the reserve transparency or on the LCAP or budget overview for parents.
I don't see any questions. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2024-2025 adopted budget reserve transparency statements of reasons for assigned and unassigned ending fund balances in accordance with the Education Code Section 42127A to B and revisions to the budget overview for parents and the increase or improve services section of the 2024-2027 Local Control and Accountability Plan, LCAP, as adopted at the June 26, 2024 board meeting. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Megales.
Second, Lopez.
Seconded by Trustee Lopez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to consent calendar. Items listed in the consent calendar are considered to be routine and are acted on by the board in one motion. There is no discussion of these items unless a member of the board, staff, or the public requests specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Are there any items to be pulled out this time? Trustee Philbeck. Trustee Alvarez. Trustee Lopez.
Yes, I'd like to pull two items. The first one is 8A.2.A. And the second one is 8B.2.
All right. Dr. McCullis? Nothing? And I have nothing to pull either. So can I get a motion to pass the consent calendar with the exception of 8A.2A and 8B.2?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Can I get a motion to pass 8A.2A? Or, oh yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, let's look at the ones that were pulled. You said 8A2?
Correct, on page 4 of the agenda.
All right. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it for discussion.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to pull this item just as a request because we do have a membership for CSBA where there's a baseline membership that we pay into annually. And there are also these supplemental subscriptions that we can apply for and pay for certain other services. I just wanted to get a list, a matrix perhaps, of what the different subscriptions that we can kind of customize for our district, what the cost is, and what the utility is in terms of what services are provided specifically for each one of those different services. But I'm supportive of the item.
So related to this specific item, the CSBA membership that we typically have to pay as being part of CSBA is $21,388. And the second part to this is the ELA membership, which is the Education Legal Alliance that comes with that. That is an addition that we pay, which is about $5,347. What the Legal Alliance does for us is it's basically a pool across the state from the school districts that put in, these funds. And so this alliance fights on our behalf when there's an issue with the state. Let's say, for example, Prop 98 is not being fully funded. They represent all CSBA groups. They fight for this. And so we do benefit once, litigation or when they fight on our behalf with the state legislators to get us good things happening for our district. So that's the amount that every district kind of pays across the state to be part of this, so that we can benefit from these services.
Okay. I do appreciate our return on investment with that. But as I said, I'm supportive of the item. I just wanted to see if we could get a matrix at some point of what memberships or subscriptions we have versus we don't have and what the cost of each one is. It seems like there are quite a few CSBA supplemental subscriptions to have.
Yeah, so we can work on that and provide that in the Friday board memo, like all the different memberships we have, and if we have any additional items into that membership, and what is the benefit and the cost analysis of what we get in terms of for adding that extra perk, as they say.
All right, thank you.
All right, and the second one that you pulled was that it? Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right, moving on then to 8B.2. Is that correct?
That's correct. Top of page 6 on the
All
agenda.
right. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
All right. Discussion.
All right, thank you very much. Again, this is something that I've mentioned before. I appreciate our Williams litigation, all the work that we've been doing as a district to be in compliance with that. However, it is something that I think from a more substantive rather than procedural standpoint that we try to address, because the issue with textbooks keeps coming up. I understand it's an important reference material for us, but in many cases it's become kind of a glorified paperweight in most classrooms. There are a lot of, I think, more individualized approaches we could have with our students, and just starting a conversation on how we can not only have a cost savings, but really support our students and help them in a more individualized way, because that's what our whole philosophy should be from an educational standpoint. And no pun intended, but the textbook is the textbook example of kind of a one-size-fits-all education. And so I think it's really crucial that we start to explore other options. There are a lot of great materials that come out of PLCs that our staff, our teachers create themselves that we should explore, and I think that would really benefit our students a lot more as well. So I just want to, I'm supportive of the item because it is kind of a procedural, but I think in terms of future planning that we look at and advocating with our state legislators. A lot of us have conversations with our delegation here in Orange County. I think that those are those substantive policy decisions and policy discussions that we should start to have and continue to have. Some of this settlement is over 20 years old. It's a quarter century old. It's a little bit antiquated. So I think that it's something that we examine a little more closely. So thank you.
And it's also very biased. It's a billion-dollar industry. We all know it. In the end of the day, as a former teacher, I rarely use the textbook. As a professor of education, our pre-service teachers are no longer trained with textbooks, but in the end of the day, it's out of our control because it's the law. But you're right, and I would love to continue to fight or just see other best practices, because billions of dollars is spent throughout the state, throughout our country on these textbooks. And I think it's time for change, especially given the technological innovations that we have now. So, yeah, thank you for pulling that item. We have been discussing that for the last 4 years. I think you brought it up the first time 4 years ago. Yeah, let's work towards something different, right? Let's stop wasting our tax dollars on things that, in the end of the day, are very biased. And I've seen the newer versions of the textbooks. They're not any different, right? Very one-sided, very Eurocentric, not very culturally relevant still, in my opinion. Thank you for bringing that up.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to the action calendar, the superintendent's office. It is requested the Board of Education, considering nominating board members from the California School Board Association, CSBA, member district, or county office of education to serve as director at large, Asian Pacific Islander, and Hispanic.
I'll move to discuss.
So moved by trustee Alvarez, second.
Second, Lopez.
Second by trustee Lopez. Discussion. Nope. We don't have to vote on this. I mean, we'll discuss. We have nobody that we would like to consider. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. All right. It is recommended the Board of Education receive for first reading revisions to the following board policies and administrative regulations. A, BP 6158 of independent study. B, AR 6158 of independent study. C, Exhibit 6158 of independent study. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Lopez.
Moved by Lopez. Seconded by Philbeck. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Educational services. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2024-25/01, declaring the month of September as Attendance Awareness Month. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Lopez.
Second.
Moved by Lopez, seconded by Dr. McAllis. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to SEPA, there is none. And now, the fun part of this evening, Human Resources. It is recommended the Board of Education ratify and approve the appointment of applicant number 081-42024-01 to the position of Betsy Ross Principal, effective July 25th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee McAllis.
Second, Alvarez.
Seconded by Trustee Alvarez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Congratulations to Deidre Stewart. Dee Dee has served the AESD community for the last 20 years at Henry, Mann, and Westmont schools as a classroom teacher, teacher on special assignment, and vice principal. Congratulations, Dee Dee, on becoming the Betsy Ross Principal.
Congratulations, Dee Dee. All right, moving on. Number 2, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the appointment and contract of employee number 0814224-02 to the position of Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, effective August 15th, 2024.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee McAllis. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Philbeck. Oh, okay. Any discussion? All I want to say is thank you all for being patient with me. I was gone in the month of July and June at the last meetings, and I screwed up with our Brown Act stuff and didn't give the proper information, so I could not be here for that meeting. This is a super important meeting, so I really, really appreciate all of you pulling it and waiting. So thank you for that.
Okay. The board will be considering an employment contract for Dr. Yadira Moreno, Assistant Superintendent, Educational Services, effective through June 30th, 2026. The recommended compensation is summarized as follows. Annual base salary of $226,130. Any base salary increases or decreases given to other certificated unit members. Contributions to health benefit programs as is paid for other certificated management employees in the same program. Holidays as defined in the Education Code or granted by the board. Sick leave to the same extent as other certificated management employees. Work year shall consist of 222 work days. Reimbursement for all actual and necessary travel and other business-related expenses incurred at the conduct of her duties. Dues for annual membership in professional organizations and or associations as approved by the superintendent.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Congratulations, Dr. Yadira Moreno. Okay, moving on. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the appointment and contract of employee number 0814224-03 to the position of Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services effective August 15th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Lopez.
So moved by Trustee Lopez. Can I get a second? Seconded by Trustee Philbeck. Any discussion?
Got it? Okay. The board will be considering an employment contract for Matthew Slesser, Assistant Superintendent Administrative Services, effective through June 30th, 2026. The recommended compensation is summarized as follows. Annual base salary of $226,130. Any base salary increases or decreases given to other 12-month unit members. Contributions to health benefit programs as is paid for other 12-month management employees in the same program. Holidays as defined in the Education Code or granted by the board. Sick leave to the same extent as other 12-month management employees. Work year to consist of 222 work days. Reimbursement for all actual and necessary travel and other business-related expenses incurred in the conduct of his duties. Dues for annual membership in professional organizations and or associations as approved by the superintendent.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Congratulations, Matthew Slesser. And congratulations to Superintendent Chavarria. You finally don't have to wear so many hats, and you too, Dina. I'm sure you're super excited to have a full team. So, all right, let's get to work. Administrative Services. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the agreement between this district and Emeritus Life Insurance Corp., 5900 O Street, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68510-2234 to provide vision benefits for all eligible district employees. The term of the agreement is effective August 15, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Lopez.
So moved by Trustee Lopez. Can I get a second? Seconded by Trustee Philbeck. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome. Carries 5-0. All right. Now it is board discussion time. Starting off with Trustee Philbeck.
Well, it's great to be back. The summer felt kind of short, but there was a lot packed into it. So I hope everybody's ready to get started on a brand new, exciting year. A few of the things that I was able to recently do was, welcome, Mr. Chavarria. Your welcome reception was certainly nice and attended by a lot of the community, and it was really a pleasure to be here. So, and I'm sure you enjoyed such a great welcome. Also, I stopped by the new employee, new hire orientation. And I was really excited to see that room was just packed and everybody looked great and seemed like they were really getting ready to just, come on and have a great year with us. So I appreciated getting to speak a little bit at that. Same with the Leadership Summit. And I know some other board members stopped by there too. We enjoy those opportunities to kind of get in the room and get to talk to everybody a little bit and especially at the beginning of the year to welcome and kind of show our enthusiasm for coming into a brand new exciting year. For the actual first day of school, I started early with Price where there was the media, went around to some of the classrooms as we were kind of validating attendance. And so it was great to see the kids already starting to learn, in the first couple of hours. It was wonderful. So I stopped by Price, stopped by Westmont, Franklin, Jefferson, Ross, and Mann, and all of them were, everybody was kind of getting acclimated. There certainly was a lot going on. They were busy, and it was fun to see. So in the meantime, with all of this, I helped the city with the Japanese students that were here visiting from Mito, Japan, which is part of the Sister City program. And I mention that because we actually went on a tour over at Western High School in AUHSD. And that was pretty exciting to also see. Have y'all seen the new, is it the JV track football field? Has anybody seen that? It's, well, drive by, it's pretty impressive. So we were over there, but the kids were here about 13 days. And we hit pretty much everywhere in Anaheim and surrounding Orange County that you can think of. I attended, and I know others are going to report on this, the Supervisor Sarmiento and the Mayor's joint community resource event that was at Orange Grove. That was wonderful. There were so many resources available to our families, and when I drove up, the line was down the street, literally down the street. And so there was fun, there was dancing, there was food, and lots of supplies given away. Also on Saturday, last Saturday, I stopped by Councilmember Carlos Leon's resource fair at Madison. Same thing, lots of people there. It was warm, but nobody seemed to mind, and there was lots of resources and supplies and things given out there also. I'll just mention that we are gearing up and working on Halloween parade floats on Sundays. I believe we start about 10 o'clock over at the, if you don't know where the warehouse area is, it's off of, I think, Vermont. So look it up, right next to Roosevelt. And if you want to be involved, there's ways you can do that. We're kind of at the beginning painting floats and getting things ready because the parade will be here before you know it. So I put that out there because the community is welcome to come and volunteer. Also at the library, please note that there is a gardening series going on, and I attended it Sunday. It's the second Sunday of the month. I attended it because I'm on the library board, and there were some people that I had been recommended for some recognition, but I was really impressed with the actual program. It was on succulents, and so if you really want to know how to garden, there's excellent, Victoria Michaels is who leads it, and I know she's done some, I'm not sure in our schools, but I think Magnolia, she's done some gardening things. Jason Woods and Cassandra Amaya work for the library, and I just wanted to note how wonderfully attended it was, and these community events are great, and it's our families, you know, that are going to all these wonderful library events. So with that, I think I will close out and say thank you for listening.
Thank you, Trustee Philbeck. Trustee Alvarez.
Thank you. Okay, so the weekend of August 1st to 3rd, I attended the California Latino School Board Association conference in Monterey. I just want to go over a couple of takeaways I got from a couple of the sessions. One of the sessions was called Cultivating Belonging, Culturally Responsive Education. It was by Dr. Cassandra Villa. She's an ethnic studies teacher in the state. And one of the things that she kind of started with is opening up as presenting her story. And all of us have a different story, right? So it was really kind of inspiring to think about how we can even open up different meetings or even meetings with families or kids, just sharing your history and who you are and where you're coming from. And that was really captivating for me because it really resonated with like, wait, I have a story that's very close to yours, but slightly different. And it was a good way to kind of engage with staff, students, whomever, so that I kind of want us to think about those things as we move forward. There's also a discussion that we had in that session where we were talking about how do we invite our students and our families to the conversation about what are the things they need when we're discussing the lessons we create or the events that we have for them in our community space, and really thinking deeply about including our families as assets to come up with decisions for things that we do for them, right? And so that was very insightful, a really deep conversation with a lot of board members across the state. Really got me thinking about how we can go further in including student voices. And I know it's hard because some of these sessions, they are geared towards secondary, right? And we think, oh, secondary kids are more prone to infuse their opinions. But no, really, our kids are pretty honest, and they pretty much know what they want and what they need, right? So if we can be creative in figuring out ways to connect with our students, just to simply ask them, what do you need, right? What are some things you think would be great to help your community? What are some things that your family could benefit from, and how can we collectively come up with brainstorming to get those things done for our schools? Another session that I went to was around community schools. And there's a quote that I wrote down from there that I thought was really great. It says, in schools, we're not preparing students for something. We're preparing we're helping them prepare themselves for anything. And that was a quote by A.J. Giuliani. And that kind of got me thinking deep about how we're facilitating students in thinking what they can do for themselves in the future, right? We're not telling them what to do for themselves. We're just giving them the tools for them to figure out what's important for them and what's going to spark their interest as human beings. And so I really appreciated that perspective in that session. It was on community schools. Another thing that kind of sparked from that conversation that I realized that there's a lot of school districts who are in the journey but aren't really quite as deep as our local school districts have been, particularly with involving all community partners in the voices of developing how our schools will look like. And it just kind of brought to the surface the idea of, are we including continuing to include all of our unions, all of our parent groups, in making decisions on how to even facilitate a committee for community schools, right? And just kind of revisiting how we've been doing that and maybe looking at best practice for how to continue moving forward together. Because we should be moving collectively, not in different like sects, I guess you could say, right? So teachers, staff, community members, leadership should all be collaborating together with our families and even our kids to develop where we're going, where we're heading. And so that's kind of what I reflected on that weekend at that conference. Some really good insight on how Anaheim is really actually ahead of the game in most cases, which I've always kind of found when I go to conferences, is that we're doing a lot of great work. We just got to continue it and just always move forward in it with the thought of how can we do things better, even though we're doing them great, right? So that's all I have for my report. I just want to wish everybody a happy new school year. Have a great year, and we'll see you around as we head to events. Okay, thank you.
Trustee Lopez.
Thank you, President Relis. Just a couple of items for myself at the beginning of this new school year. The first event I was able to attend, I had the opportunity to go to our new employee workshop at Key Elementary. I was there with Dr. McAuliffe. I did not roll up my sleeves the way he did and serve all the food, though. So I was just there to taste test. So thank you, Dr. McAuliffe, and HR for serving. We appreciate that. Food always brings people together. I actually had to run from a training, so I didn't get to stay too long. But it was a great turnout, great event from what I was able to observe. And then a week later, August 6th, I was back at Key Elementary for our ELOP, professional development. And again, that was standing room only, which is a good problem to have, that we had a lot of support, a lot of staff who was there to help our families, help our students as we return to school. So that was really heartwarming to see. And then August 8th, I was able to make it also to Orange Grove, as many of my colleagues were, for the Supervisor Sarmiento back to school event. It was a very long line, a long wait, very warm outside, but a lot of great resources. So I did even see one of my current students at the secondary level who was in line waiting. I think it took him about 2 hours to get through the entire process. So, but it's one of those events, like most of the events, we see our community, right? These are our families, these are our students. So I was able to see him the next day in class. He got his new shoes. He was wearing his new shoes he got at the event. So he was super excited about it. So that was great and rewarding to see that this is really impacting our students, our families in a real way. So you really see the fruit of all of that occurs. So with that, I'll conclude my remarks. That's all of the events that I was able to attend. Again, just to echo my colleague, I just want to wish everybody a happy new school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lopez. Dr. McAuliffe.
Thank you very much. I did go to Texas for the 4th time to check on my dad, and he's doing great. Eating the same food, though, so... Anyways, I attended the new superintendent welcome reception. It was amazing, Jesse. I loved all the people that came up to show you support and all the faculty and staff. It was just an amazing event. The new AESD employee orientation, like Mark said, I did serve. I wanted to, I don't know, it's nice to just serve, but I do want to give a shout out to the whole HR department. Wow, it was such an amazing event. Like, if I was a new employee at a district, I would feel so empowered, so ready, so just, you know, I felt it. And it was great because I started to be able to see the presentations after lunch. And the first presentation I saw was Laura Houston presenting on the culturally responsive and ethnic studies task force, or CREST, framework that what we have with the district, and we're presenting that to all new employees from across the board already. It's not just within the social studies, it's not just within the English language arts, it's within all employees of Anaheim Elementary School District. So I love that that she did that presentation. Then unfortunately I had to go. And then I also attended the, first of all, huge shout out to our Orange County Supervisor Sarmiento and our Anaheim Mayor Aiken and all the many partners that were there at Orange Grove for that backpack giveaway event. I love too, you know, I want to give a huge shout out to Vans. And I know there's some faculty throughout our organization that does this. My cousin's a big sneakerhead. I'm just getting into sneakers. But what you see when the students has a new pairs of shoes, right, it's just powerful, right? So I really want to thank Vans. I think it was Vans, right, that donated all those shoes. And not only did they just get random shoes, they got to pick what type of shoes they wanted. So I just thought that's amazing. And so thank you so much to all the people who put that together. Great event. And, I did quickly swing by Barton Elementary, my alumni, on the first day of school. And last but not least, I also went to the Macberry Festival at Magnolia High School. And that was pretty much my summer. I wish everybody an amazing a school year, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Awesome. And, you know, pretty much everything has been mentioned. But you know, to be redundant, new employee orientation. Yes, of course, I went to it, and it was awesome. And I want to just thank you, HR, the HR department, especially our HR assistant, Soup, who reminded me, you know, we're not serving food until after the bus tour, so that's when you get to eat. And I'm like, what? It reminded me that last year I kind of ate and then dashed real quick. For all of us that are, you know, in education, we're back at work at this point, and it's crazy times for us. So we try our best to get an escape whenever we can. I was coming from another meeting en route back to my school site, and I was like, I can swing by here. So I was thankful to basically be able to swing by and greet all the new employees. The superintendent reception, legit, it was great. It was well attended. I had a great time there, and I'm just very, very proud of all the various community members and stakeholders that came out to show our support for Jesse. I'm sad that I missed the Leadership Summit, but as I mentioned before, this is like the crazy time for all of us with administration, getting ready for registration, getting that all organized. I'm the administrator this year responsible for students in grade 7, so that was my baby. So I had to make sure that it went well, and so I wasn't able to attend. And I'm very, very sad that I missed it, because after speaking with the majority of a lot of principals and a handful of the assistant principals. Jesse, I heard that your comments really resonated with them and got them pumped and pretty excited, and was truly authentic. So I'm really, really excited about that. And from what I heard, I think so too are our other administrators in this district. On the 3rd of August, I went with community member and major parent volunteer here, Marissa Bermudez, who invited me to attend an event over at the VFW Post 3173, where that was hosted by Fire Zone Church. Fire Zone Church is basically the church that also utilizes Sunkist Elementary School. They had a great day of distributing backpacks. They were giving haircuts, and they had, of course, lots of games and delicious food. It was ridiculously hot that day, but people showed up. It was well attended, and I'm pretty sure we went through all supplies that were provided. I went on The last thing I really want to point out is I too was over at the Orange Grove for the Supervisor Sarmiento and Mayor Aiken's event. It was super cool. I was really pumped about it. And truly, once again, I was amazed by how many people showed up to this event. You know, it was awesome. Good stuff. So that concludes my report. Are there any future agenda items? Jesse Philbeck? Jesse Alvarez?
I do have an item. Actually, I would like a report on our ELD pedagogy and instruction that we're currently using. Kind of a focus on the research behind what we're doing with our ELD instruction. That'd be great. If I could have that, please.
Great. Trustee Lopez?
Yeah, just one item as well. In the interest of cost savings, transparency, things like that, I just wanted to request an item from the Public Agency Retirement System, PARS, Alternate Retirement System 457 plan for employees who may not necessarily be in PERS or STIRS as an alternate retirement system. That could be some cost savings to it. I don't know if we have that program already, but just looking at what the mechanics of that would be for possible adoption as an option for employees as well. Thank you.
Great. Dr. McCullough? And I have no future agenda items either. All right. Well, with that said, I adjourn the meeting at 8 o'clock. And our next board meeting is Wednesday, September 11, 2024. Have a great night, everyone, and have a great new school year.